The spring comes late up here, but every year when the snows have melted, the Basque shepherds of Santazi come to the high pastures with their sheep. This place is known as Ligoletta, like the syndicate of shepherds who work together here. Ligoletta is also one of the last of the traditional Olha huts, the proud focus of a way of life. Ambrosi Junet has been coming up here for more than 50 years, and for shepherds like him, this is the central image of a man's life. But back in his village of Santazi, things are changing quickly now. The traditional ways of the shepherding life are being challenged more than ever before. Hey!
Cambiato su visitsia erna heveta mekanikek lan hanichel kiviti eta gastiak estutsuna hila vanchai sigari da hat espetu aski rendatsa stusu aski javast ian sosune mia dosulania lata te u kena zechna dosulania men hemnes kusu bie bisitsena ha hike eta bentuas bai gentil gormanto shake lehendanik.
This film is about a year in the life of a French Basque village and about a year of change for its people. The country of the Basques straddles the borders of France and Spain, a cluster of 7 provinces with their own unique language and passionate sense of identity. The world has come to know the Spanish Basques through the fierce nationalism of ETA and its claim for an independent Basque state. North of the border, here in the 3 French provinces, the sense of Basque identity remains strong, but with less insistence on bombs and separatism. On the very edge of the province of Chibaroa, scattered along a steep valley cul-de-sac under the Pyrenees, lies the community of Sainte-Engrâce, known by its Basque people as Santazi. Over the seasons of a year, we followed the patterns of change and continuity through the stories of 2 families. Although their houses are only a few miles apart along the valley, the 2 families haven't met for years. This is the house Goyart, the home of the same family for more than 200 years. For Maggi Goyart's family, it's been a hard winter. It's late March, and the snows have only recently lifted from the house Goyart, uncovering the steep mountain slopes which are the family lands. Despite the toughness of their land, the Goyarts, Maggi, her husband Felix, and their 2 sons, are a formidable and prosperous family team. The Goyarts have a vital family decision soon. Which of their sons is going to inherit? In Santazi, there's no guarantee that an eldest son will take over. But traditionally, whoever does inherit gets everything. The house will keep its name and the lands must stay undivided. Marcel Goyart is the eldest son, but his interests don't lie with the family's sheep, but in cattle and hunting. Pierre Goyart has been a devoted shepherd since the age of 8. His sheepdog trophies fill the house. Today, meanwhile, there's another family debate round the Goyart lunch table. Although Santazi and the 3 Basque provinces north of the border are part of France, Maggie Goyart is in no doubt about her loyalties or her identity.
Nationalitatea Tanzania este så räknar va detta skalden silla.
Felix Goyart's farm is one of the most isolated in the whole community of Santazi, and its steep pastures mean endless slog for the family. The road only reached the house as late as 1977, but it has transformed the family's lives. Twice each day, morning and evening, Pierre and Felix must milk over 100 sheep. At this time of year, the milk will be sold to a lowland cheese factory. The big flock, around 250 in all, is the basis of the family's prosperity.
Minä leheneko gente quasi si mescimento e cigarriglia. Oai estus compaitzeko e. Oai leheneko gente per li che si arragin. Selin le tugat si kustez. Gin modelan.
Että nulla sintsiä hunat kojat.
Tani ne gasten buan erkinu subeste gasten gija ta feliz kantia nisu ne sagutu. Ta che io pensa algar ta povinela. Jeni mai tenitsu lura. Lanka valia mai tenitsu. Ta lurlana en auridi conjuntu hita. Eta puak na hininditsini e manasi verani es ni lurlani laket. Eta egon heve. Eta juurnusu.
A few miles away at the head of the valley, the Jeunette family have their lands. On a morning in March, Ambrosi Jeunette has a chance to collect hay for his sheep. With his son Jean-Pierre away all week, working as an electricity linesman, Ambrosi relies for help on his daughter, Isabella.
Vadusu shohoshahatse, serralyögite, kavalen lanak. Että kun goisan emaster ohjella kafineja maitia, haistus na chinetsi, eri yunessa savos.
Mastelan, met tyvärr tutsuva ei batsa kavalsu mastelan. Asa suuntaan sustuttaa. Shoshat seegi, sun agas piitan on vasta kiitän ditsi. Se on vasta ik. Vitoi parne kulana per fosta.
Tu pani kiitän. Oh, et joie.
Tätä holo.
The hay van is driven and owned by Ambrosi's first neighbour, Anya. Today she's giving her transport and her labor as part of the network of neighborly relationships which binds people together in Basque villages like Santazi. Every household has 3 first neighbors, and from birth to death, those collaborations and mutual supports are considered the most important relationships outside the family. Much may be changing here, but the institution of the first neighbor remains powerful. Since 1958, Father Joseph Arhex has been the priest of Santazi. He's also the town hall secretary and a major agent of change in the community. As the main link between the people here and the French government, his skill in getting the most out of the EEC bureaucrats has had a big effect in improving the prosperity of Santazi since his early days here.
Eta una situația certeri sigare agrada siasa ni sigare eiger siasa. Eta hartako ni hauken sundit eta mea que era na jos reproche egeni ki santiku subide shobea egindu. Taldiz egeni strugu bidia et chota helseko bidia. Eta hore segur visitie caviata di.
Finding the money and mobilizing the energy to push through roads like the one that linked the Goyart's house with the outside world, the priest has helped to transform Santazi. But he has also brought change to the religious life of the community.
La religione è cambiato cambiato denes. Le henago mesela ciddiye mudava sussun, eraita diye mesela bek shortidava pesala sussun algar bartseko occasione vato soi alli rodosani. Et ordin Elisak vai hebben vai lektuhani chettan gizala hüster aituts.
Palm Sunday remains one of the few occasions in the year when the 11th century church of Sainte-Engrâce at the head of the valley will be full again for the service of Blessing the Laurel. People will come here today, not only from all over the community, but from the French towns and cities where so many émigrés from Santazi now live. Louisa, Ambrosi Jeanette's wife, is here, but the changes the priest has introduced, abolishing confession and many rituals, have not popular. No one will be here this morning from the Goyart family.
Lehen, jam tov me sarađujte gânduțu. Me spetat. Et aște șaintia, e cegit se nginisun. Jinko hunane respective cegit se nginisun. Oai ben hove, ki gijota. Oai este se bate vermudela. Gigante zaitutsu. Aște yunai ki ben hove ki lanine sumai. Ena hoinik ene partetik esti tuncha hatsamaiten. Gigantez nik esti nahi ene lamborchati cavalena ke egiten tit, bena gehanti campo ti bestelani ke egiten gigantia ikina. Enusu mesan ushe vilten, bena ene religioni vardin vadit ene jinko hunai kilani.
Christo
central purpose of the Palm Sunday service is to bless the laurels of the congregation, which will then be kept in the house to protect the family over the year. Not long ago, this was a major ritual involving processions around the community. Today, it's over in moments. Louisa carries her blessed laurel home to protect the house Jeanette and her family. The old laurels must be burned to avoid the risk of contaminating some sacred object and the house itself. Pierre Goyart is going off to market to sell 10 of his lambs. He has hopes of a good price, but it's also a chance of a day in a lowland French town 25 miles away. Now that they have their road and 2 family cars, Pierre and his brother Marcel enjoy an infinitely wider experience than was possible for their parents of the world outside Santazi. Every Tuesday morning at this time of year, Moulin Market attracts shepherds from miles around with sheep and lambs to sell. Prices are good today, and a handful of big buyers will soon snap up everything available. For Pierre Goyart, it's a good day. His 10 lambs fetch nearly £400. In the little bar across from the church, on an evening at the end of March, Ambrosi Jeanette and the other shepherds of the Ligoletta Syndicate have gathered for their annual meeting. They plan to eat and drink well and don't expect to be home before morning. It's a rare opportunity to catch up on gossip for men who may not have met for months on their scattered farms. But this is also the most crucial business meeting of the year. Tonight, they must agree how they will work together up in the high pastures when the summer comes. First, though, there's the important matter of the cheese. There's a profound respect for fine sheep's cheese and for the shepherd who can make it. But they're tough critics if something's gone wrong. After the meal, it's time for business. The treasurer gives a report on the syndicate's accounts. After calculating what they've spent repairing and improving the hut, they share out what's left. But the main business of the evening is still to come, and it's to be especially tricky this year. The syndicate have to decide how to pool their flocks and share out their workload up at the Olha hut in the summer. The milk from the combined flocks will be distributed equally in the form of the prized mountain cheeses. But for 2 of the shepherds, tonight is not a discussion they're looking forward to. Laurent Idiard is a part-time shepherd. He also works as an electricity linesman. Johanni Arospide has other claims on his time as well. Since the death of his brother-in-law, he's working his farm on his own. He's decided that he'll only offer his dry ewes to the syndicate after they've ceased to give milk. Most unwelcome of all, he doesn't want to do his turn of work up at Ligoletta.
Lei ci aiutino, l'hanno chiamato due amano, sei, sì, sette gini che vale, è stato questo, ma io non ti devi dire.
The argument will go on until 2:30 in the morning. On the surface, it's about money and work sharing, but the passionate attempts to win over their reluctant colleagues is really a desperate plea by the Santazi shepherds to preserve a way of life they fear is coming to an end.
Ordinanță? Это гюра же, не так что все газна утота на халусу не чарца дус.
Не на кахоре зарчиште. Я на кахоре гоче медака на хашта юту гта. Баштан бер исати гайду кеу. Айцена де гонже гайду зида, ай башта чалда та артrik. Ордин маdik. Segue ta harne bo freva hillu gta stu kana orange tseka. Ja, mini hauna på. Allora stavano anche lì a un giorno o un paio giorni.
Cinque campioni non c'era sempre toccati. Stiamo a te. Fini gesti. Non gesti, fini. Ma io per essere l'inchiesta deve stare in modo. Non sto in caduto. Ah, sciuo, ma coach perché cosa sono? Ja. En je zien in Liever, dat is een waar gila ik had jij weer gieten. En hoe moest je wat hebben? Had je ordinair is al talent op triste hoek.
Liga met de zit is niet echt. Nee, dat is niet.
The Santazi shepherd's attack on the reluctant Arospide has a special edge since he's from another village.
Gitas, Jaska, Montagne, j'entends le truc. Putain, c'est un 5 minutes, ok. Așa că revetia, aici ne fea ca și un nou. Un ce vedati holder că ta lana că tot.
While Idiot is away working as a linesman, his father must look after the family farm. The departure of a son from the shepherding life is a familiar problem for Ambrosi Junet.
Nu kan we het worst op zetten, hè? Het auto het aan. Hebben we hier wat je dat ooit dan doen? Het is er over centrum.
The meeting went on until 3 in the morning, but Aristide and Idiot had left long before then. It's late May, but for the Basque shepherds of Santazi, spring has been a long time coming. After more snow in April, the grass is thickening at last in the valley, but up in the mountains, the snows are slow to clear. For Ambrosi Jeanette and the shepherds of Ligoletta, it's a frustrating time. They're anxious to move from the grass in the valleys to encourage the autumn hay crop, but it's still impossible to take the sheep up to the high pastures.
Ramoncho! Ah, Horinzangashuha.
Ramuncho, Ambrosi's grandson, has come with his mother to watch the evening milking. His father is Ambrosi's linesman son Jean-Pierre. Ramuncho says he doesn't want to be a shepherd like his granddad.
Että hamar ur tettan hassin on nusum mortukan. Mortine viten, hamar ur tettan nisun shaharva tökin haurus, näin on. Ai, että sortsiukset takos nusan rijestä. Ai taiki, laken nusun. Tu järginisun egine ja sarvait.
Että Jean-Pierre lehen irisu on halatsuikin.
Jean-Pierre huija.
Vai.
Ai. Se. Arrijista ne vajan sydisö. Niin Betsi olhan lakati sanoisi. Tapaho. Hakivet. Tapaho.
Felix and Maggie Goyart have a rare day trip to the lowlands. They're on their way to the market at Saint-Palais to make one of their most important purchases of the year. In the market, the Goyarts have left the Basque-speaking mountain valleys. They will bargain here in French. The pigs they buy today will be fattened up until they're killed in December to provide a staple of the family diet for the whole year.
Oui, mais est-ce qu'ils ont mangé...
Je vous les donne en essai du maïs.
Oui.
Je vous les donne en essai.
Parce que je ne fais pas comme l'année dernière, hein. Ah, je ne sais pas d'où ils me les avaient amenés, mais je ne veux pas.
J'en ai vendu à Sainte-Engrâce cette année. C'était le premier repas. D'ailleurs, je vous connais assez de fois.
Oui. Ah, mais je ne vais pas vous payer du tout.
Ne me payez pas.
Non?
Ne me payez pas.
Vous dites qu'ils n'ont pas plus de 120 kilos.
Oh là là, moi je peux pas te certifier par là, oui.
Il est passé.
Hein?
Il est passé.
Je te dis que non, ils peuvent pas produire plus.
For both parties, the weight of the pigs is vital. The merchant insists they have a low weight to justify his asking price of 10 francs per kilo. Maggie and Felix are sure they're heavier than the merchant claims, so they're determined to close a deal at 9 francs.
Oui, mais ils pèsent beaucoup cela, hein.
Ils vont faire 120?
Plus.
120 à 125 mettons?
Plus.
Non.
120. 125, 130, vous allez voir. Oui.
Non, c'est le numéro, non?
Oui.
Celui-ci, je ne sais pas. Celui-ci, oui.
Vous allez voir, vous voulez payer la apéritif. Moi, je me dis qu'ils font 120,
Ah, celui-ci, mais oui, 130.
Ça, c'est... Ah oui, oui, oui. Ça, c'est sûr.
La moyenne, je ne sais pas.
Et
C'est joli, mal.
à 10 francs, c'est trop cher. Hein,
Ah, mais bon,
ah bon, oui.
Voi uno vuole farlo, volevano pure
Non, non, d'accord. Ah. Je vous dis pas le contraire, hein, ça. À 9 francs.
Maggie and
Ouais, mais
Felix
les
had
bocaux
agreed
sont comme ça.
beforehand
Et vous
that
voyez à
she'd
quel
be the
prix on les
one
vend
to work
après?
at driving the price now.
12, 13 francs. Je ne vais pas moi, je vais passer par partout.
À 9 francs, si vous voulez, je vous dis.
9 francs, c'est pas la même.
Hein? Ah, mais pourtant, c'est bien, oui, 9 francs aussi.
Maggie's persistence pays off at last. Reluctantly, the merchant agrees to accept the 9 francs per kilo. The Goyards had guessed right. The 2 pigs were much heavier than the merchant had claimed, so they got a good deal. Maggie and Felix are well pleased with their purchases, which will help to feed the family for a whole year. Recently, they've also sorted out some other important family business. As they settle the pigs, their elder son, Marcel, is working with the cattle on the hillside above them. Now it's been decided that his younger brother Pierre, with his commitment to the sheep, should inherit.
Via na bišeme vatik, eta via kalgaren artinel estatzen tutsu, eta nik nahenisun Marcel lehena zenbezala, hai prefeantxa eman, bena haike maiten diozu, anaiai, etxalti aintzina haik arrahar desan, Felixek bi urten bien behar atreta beituke.
So Pierre will inherit the house Goyart and all its lands and livestock in 2 years' time. But the Goyarts have broken with tradition by reaching their decision in a family discussion without a formal contract drawn up by Felix, Pierre and Maggie.
Pierre dukesu chef d'exploitant, Marcel jatu bezale txelanin egunen duzu. Tego egun batez nahi balin bat desiratzen balin bada, nahi diala haike, biak erdizka jarrin tutzangaek.
At last, on May 27th, the shepherds of Ligoletto feel able to try for an ascent of the mountain. This first trip will be a one-day recce to check out the hut and see if the high pastures are ready for the sheep. They've improved the track in recent years so that the tractors can get up. But the hard winter has left the way littered with obstacles. After almost 3 difficult hours, they're on the top and in the man's world of the Olha. After standing empty for 8 months since last summer, the Olha is in need of a spring clean. Ambrogi fulfills the traditional role of woman of the house, starting the domestic chores, which will rotate between the shepherds during the season. The return to the Olha is a happy time for the shepherds, celebrating a kind of holiday from the tough realities of the valleys. It's also a time for horseplay and practical jokes.
Hey! Hurra, 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 Sally! Hurra! Hurra, hurra, hurra!
The most important job before the shepherds return to the valley this afternoon is to build the corral which will hold the sheep during milking. The men of Ligoletta hope to return with their flocks in 2 days' time to begin the traditional summer in the high pastures. In a lowland field a few miles from Santazi, a gang of electricity linesmen are dismantling a pylon. Many of the gang are from Santazi, and this work has been an important factor in drawing young men away from the traditional shepherding life. It's better paid and offers more free time. But it means that many of these men will spend their working week miles away from home, returning only at weekends to Santazi. Ambrosi Junet's son, Jean-Pierre, has worked as a linesman for some years now, leaving behind the life his father is still struggling to preserve.
Että lehen vai su gaste like että portira ibrisia?
Da, vai, se portiamo.
Että ordien aitaikin ibrisia?
Aitaikete on jau, te oi. Questo lei, aitak hat meter lia.
Että
Etsemme harra Iranin orvaitek.
Että skele kodin nuisi santia uhan?
Oi ganne rotian, ganne samis.
Dena gazne giteko?
Es, faz ei zetran, sto de mainik. Lani me harta jo. Shantiane vitani dorian sto.
Déjà neki kustandit igan hamar orte huntan sinnes apyrtyk. Dus hanich eche nulatyk, eta nulatsenai, eta nulatyk uebai.
Santazi is losing its people. In 1900, almost 1,000 lived in the community. Today, Santazi is reduced to only 390. And as the old people die, marriages are rare and children are few. Santazi Upper School, well equipped and full of energy. But with only a handful of children, the school is threatened.
L'école va fermer. Bon, la première des choses, c'est que les effectifs diminuent. Il y a de moins en moins d'élèves. C'est la cause qui définit le tout et qui définit surtout l'attitude de l'administration. L'administration respecte des critères bien stricts. À partir de tant d'élèves, nous fermons. Et cela va s'appliquer cette année. C'est regrettable, parce que bon, c'est une petite école de montagne qui respire la joie, les cris des enfants le matin, le midi, le soir. Tout cela ne va plus exister.
The school was scheduled to close in September 1986. For the children, it would mean a journey of 7 miles a day along difficult roads to a school in the lower village. As in the present school, the teaching there is not in Basque, but in French.
Bacha estus hyska eminatuku. Sois ni hauki kustandit en rahautsi piake, chaku haura. Fuake haina hituts franceses minsatu. Irkereteniot, irineta jojo biereteniot. Haur hoyer hyskas minsasite, badiden bo franco francesan geu ikasteko. Uai hyska hasteiste malimadi, musti esti shekuli kashiko herdemesa.
But amid all the changes, the central image survives. For another year, the shepherds of Ligoletta assemble their flocks for the ascent to the altar. They've been delayed by yet another snowfall in the mountains, but at last, on May 31st, they're ready to go.
Dolorium Sainte-Engrâce, Saint-Engrâce, Ola collegieta, Prestista beata, Ola goza de sagin, Jésus en gloria, Jésus en gloria.
Carriera va di. Chin chin.
Everyone's pleased with the speed of the ascent this year, just over 3 hours from Santazi. But men who breakfasted before 6 this morning are ready for a snack. Before getting down to work, there's time for a bit of fun.
Quindi, aparta marito! Come Dio!
Before they return to Santazi, all the shepherds help to separate the milking ewes. For the next 4 days, until they're relieved by another pair of shepherds from the syndicate, Ambrosi Junette and Mathieu Outeroux will be alone at Ligoletta with 400 sheep. Twice a day, soon after dawn and in the early evening, they'll milk the herd and then take turns in making cheese. The cheeses made here in the mountains are valued far more than house cheeses made in Santazi. Each shepherd will make a cheese every day he's in the Olha. Begins to make cheese, heating the milk before adding rennet to promote curdling. The whole process will take about 2 hours. While the mountain cheeses command a high price in lowland markets, they'll be carried home by the shepherds. The cheese a man makes here is an object by which he'll be judged as a shepherd and as a provider, an object of pride and status and even of sexual prowess.
Ederda. Zna? Da. Hamdi. 40 kilo. Ma jajza. Me stipe ste sosti hamasei, te čipiek lau, 100 kilo. Hoi kilo goisan, hoi kilo gaia. Ai. Cachorro, valeu de vestia. Olha dar lá do que? Topia. Oro verin ersöke vai. Se bezle her daldı. Että lähkäpetis. Ardia mai tătei tăta. Bortie vai?
Lagune vai?
Aina nikä sit on maite ei oo.
Mas,
Au friska det, det är något som är usvegen.
Behar di sigu zerbait egin bizitzeko, Ardie bari bada behar dizudan nupai joan.
Eta ez duzu bea igortena hau.
Ardie behar dizi begietu.
Hyvä sanoa bi hartzain. Ali diso portilate igortia.
Early December in Santazi. At Mathieu Uturu's house and everywhere in Santazi, it's the time to slaughter the family pigs. Mathieu's first neighbours help to clean and prepare the meat as tradition requires. But alongside the familiar seasonal events, it's also been a year of activity and change. The village school has been saved from threatened closure. A delegation from Santazi successfully made its case with the authorities.
Alors, bon, en plaidant ces causes-là, causes matérielles, mais aussi nécessité de garder une école dans un lieu retiré, qui est signe de vie et d'avenir, l'école. En plaidant cela, nous avons réussi à négocier une année d'ouverture supplémentaire.
This year, the battle must be fought all over again, and the schoolmaster says they're on a razor's edge.
Harry! It's time!
It's been a good year for the Goyart family.
Harry!
In summer, Pierre won another important sheepdog trophy, and the family team produced 54 cheeses, as well as profiting from sales of milk and lambs. The Goyart surviving pig contemplates a limited future. The other pig was killed last month, and the resulting store of food is much in evidence around the house Goyart. The family invested in a new road up to their high barn, which made farm work much easier. Sadly, the road has now collapsed.
Piedi gaisi sigarria dus. Oi lurta tu sikus. Vena arrajine veita shahatsea. Vestelan vidia cambia tsendisi visitia. Pirki.
Meanwhile, Pierre is now only a year away from inheriting the house Goyart and its lands. But he's having to work for it. Every Thursday, Pierre Goyart must join other villagers in studying modern farm techniques. A new law requires him to complete 240 hours of study before he can inherit. It's been a difficult year for Ambrosi Junet. Up at the Olha in early summer, his foot was badly injured in an accident with a tractor. But Ambrosi's linesman son Jean-Pierre helped out at Ligoletta, and they still managed to make 20 mountain cheeses during the season.
Jos, sta kitso mate vindu hyn, gynisi, vai vuingas navena. Aivan chimityt. Emaste hoiky lakise mesa harigari gorman pitside, serak handiska musten tutsi, että huujano arvestevat.
In the mountains behind Santazi, the most far-reaching change of all has arrived this year. Until now, Santazi was the end of the road, and its people remained comparatively isolated. In the last few months, a new road has been driven to the Spanish border and beyond. And this year, the Tour de France cycle race will pass through Santazi.